Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Flames. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you for tuning in to today's preview of the Bruins and Flames game, which feels very weird because the teams have not played each other in nearly 2 years, and it was actually one of the last games before the pause, and it'll be my first game back in TD Gardens in like 700 days, which is disgusting to think about. But coming up, we have some iconic guests.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, these are some of my longtime internet friends that have somehow stuck by me through my pick-me phase to, oh shit, she's a professional phase.
Hey, we're real life friends now.
Yeah, now we're real life friends because we've hung out and I beat them in bocce. Maybe.
All right.
I took a 3-0.
Cam, the only one that didn't win a bocce game.
Yeah.
All right. You know, I was reserving my skills for other sets on that weekend, which was a great weekend, by the way.
It was, and we will talk about that in just a moment.
Oh God.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welp, there are 4 of us on this call, but there's only 3 if you're watching YouTube.
Ironically, the one who doesn't have a webcam is Cam.
Yeah, is named Cam. You guys know Lancey has joined this podcast many times, especially during the pause and bubble and basically my whole tenure of covering this show, because he is always up late and same. So
I have no schedule. It's just, hey, I'm here.
You're like my freelance podcaster.
Freelancy. Hashtag freelancy.
Say hashtag freelancy.
We've moved on from Brittany to me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Freelancy till it's backwards. So I'm joined by Lancey's free. Do you get that?
Oh, I get it. I'm just
okay. I was just making sure.
For dramatic
So I'm joined by Nick, Cam, and Chris, who was on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's me.
So closer to y'all's time frame. Can't relate, but must be nice. Is the sun still up?
A little. It wasn't really a sunny day. Weird for San Diego, but I enjoy the gray ones because they can be few and far between. But this one, so the sun's. I wouldn't say the sun's still out, but it's still light out.
Okay. It is 7:45 here. We are recording on Thursday night while the Flames are playing. They currently have a 1-0 lead, thanks to Johnny Gaudreau. But the Bruins have been off since Saturday?
I'm pretty sure it's funny you mentioned that last game that the Bruins and Flames played before the pause. I'm pretty sure that's the last time the Bruins played, period, actually.
It actually feels like that.
It really does.
It does. So if you're new here, hi. I started out writing about the Bruins and then got sucked into the Flames because they have nice jerseys. So that's
not something you literally want to have happen to you, but
yeah. So yeah, don't suggest getting sucked into a bonfire. But so how are the Bruins doing? Because I feel like they literally play once every 6 weeks.
Yeah, at this point they're playing pretty much a football schedule, so they play once every weekend, and then we're gonna play every other day apparently for the last 3 months of the season.
There's a back-to-back too.
Yeah, we went from back to back,
and then you play the Flames on Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, then 5 days off, then Saturday, Sunday again. It really makes a lot of sense.
Not a bye week though.
The first weekend and the last weekend in November, everything in between is back-to-back. So it's really just the second and third week, but still back-to-backs.
This is like a PHF schedule.
So I know we've been making fun of it, and it is really stupid that the Bruins are playing like 4 games while everybody else is like 10 games ahead. But it's been pretty relaxing in terms of, podcasting schedule and
you get to watch so many
watching
other
schedule.
teams.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really been doing that so much, but I usually do. But our, plugging DirecTV right now is an awful service that
no, they sponsor us.
Oh, never mind. Well, they have NHL Center Ice, and I have that, and we'll just say now I have that service back again as of today.
Shout out to DirecTV Stream.
Hey,
go to directtv.com.
Just
actually not an ad read for today. That is for Monday. But so like the Bruins are without Tuukka Rask and David Krejci for the first time in a very long time.
Would you like to go over
how is that going?
The entire roster of players that are no longer on the team since last time they played the Flames?
Lancey has that, I'm sure.
I guarantee
that's why I want
he does.
That's why I want to go for
Lancey, take it away.
All right, so Anders Bjork, David Krejci.
Good start.
I forgot about him. He's in Buffalo now.
Sean Crowley, Par Lindholm, Jeremy Lauzon, Nick Ritchie, Chris Wagner, who's with Providence currently, and Tuukka Rask. All those guys gone. Stan Chara gone.
That's a shorter list than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it's like half the team. So
it is.
There's been quite a lot of turnover. The last time these two teams met, you would have thought that someone's going to go through quite a rebuilding process or a retooling process. And it wasn't the team that you would have thought.
And speaking of turnovers,
Chuck is the king of turnovers right now, and I'm not talking about apple pies.
Ew. I mean, so to address your question, I think Jeremy Swayman has taken control of the net so far. Linus Ullmark was ostensibly brought in to be the starter and kind of carry the burden of being the minutes eater at goaltender while Swayman develops. And last year, Swayman, he looked really good, but we talked about on our lovely podcast, go listen to Brews and Bruins if you're a Bruins fan. I don't know why you're listening to a Flames podcast, but you can like two teams
because they want to pay my rent, Chris.
I download the podcast.
Thank you. My landlord appreciates you.
But we spent some time.
I'd like to investigate that. He said download. He doesn't listen. He just downloads.
That's fine. I don't listen when somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I listen to your podcast." I genuinely apologize.
I'm worried about people who listen to our podcast, but
some friend.
Yeah. No, I don't listen to anything I'm on. I'll listen to like the first segment of the episode of Brews and Bruins, and they're like, "Oh my god, no." After that, I know I've cracked a second truly, and it's over. It's just
Jess. I've listened to episodes that I'd rarely listen to our podcast, but I've listened to some episodes that you've appeared on, and you're very good on our podcast. One of the things that we've discussed is adjusting to the adjustment. Jeremy Swayman obviously came out and was really hot from the start. And I feel like in a league that, a lot relies on getting video on guys, especially goaltenders, and understanding their tendencies. Sometimes it can be a little easier to come in and steal a few games than if there's a book on you, especially if, Swayman didn't have a lot of time in professional hockey. Even he was just playing in college. And so a lot of it was going to be about, okay, what do you do after teams get this book on you, like a whole off season to figure you out, and then kind of come at you from different angles. And it looked like, maybe he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but he's really tuned it in, and he looks like he can carry the load. Mm-hmm. I mean, Linus Ullmark, I think probably needs some time to adjust. Our good friend Kat Silverman was talking on our podcast about.
Just a friend? Are you friend zoning your own girlfriend on this podcast?
Oh, I don't want to throw things out there like that on other podcasts. But yeah, my girlfriend Kat Silverman, who's a goalie expert.
Nepotism here.
Yeah, it's fine.
We had her on to talk about Linus Ullmark in the offseason before we actually got to see him play, and a lot of people were kind of saying like, oh my god, this guy had a .917 save percentage for one of the worst teams in the league. Like, you just put him on the Bruins.
So did Jacob Markstrom
in that system. Yeah, exactly. You put him on the Bruins in that system, he's going to thrive. And we had her on again last week to kind of break down why maybe he was struggling so far this year, and she was mentioning like sometimes you lose like all the confidence and the ability to communicate with your defense and kind of play an actual game as a goaltender rather than playing off of your defense. And so he's kind of having to relearn all of that with the Bruins, and I believe he deserves some time to do that. But meanwhile, Swayman's kind of carrying the load. And to address the original question of how is it without Tuukka, it's frustrating because you have two guys who are both trying to adjust to things, whereas Tuukka's been that rock for many, many years.
But it's also kind of fun because Bruins Twitter, I don't know how Flames Twitter is when it comes to watching Markstrom versus Vladar, but Bruins Twitter is going
up Vladar. They love him. So thank you, Don Sweeney. Thank you.
Third round pick. That's a steal.
Not for Zach Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Well, but at least people are finally starting to realize that Tuukka Rask was, generally a pretty good goaltender. I'd say somewhere on the realm of, like Mika Kiprasov was for the Flames back in the day. So people are starting to recognize that, but they're also going the other way, and they're completely like, Linus Ullmark is the worst thing on the face of this planet. And he's not, though. I mean, right now he has a .903 save percentage, which isn't great if you want to be the starter. Sure. He's also faced 186 shots against. He's made 168 saves. Swayman's faced 175. He's made 160 saves.
I hate that you
Swayman's
have
got a
to
914 save percentage. So when you look at that and you say he's in a new system, he's got to come into it. He's got to learn how to communicate with the new defenders, learn the new ice, learn the new everything. Give him a little more time. It's also still early in the season. Don't get me wrong. I don't like where they're sitting in the standings, but part of that is because they haven't had the consistent depth scoring, and that's an entirely different story. But goaltending-wise, you knew it would be an adjustment, and just, let them get comfortable. I think
Cam, you want to take the rock on Krejci here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I just want to real quick first jump in with one more thing about Ullmark. I will absolutely agree that Swayman has been better so far. I think it's funny because there was a little bit of a scare, and Chris kind of mentioned it with regards to Swayman and the idea that, he was so good for the Bruins last year, and you've seen young goalies kind of go on those hot stretches late in the season before and kind of catch fire when it matters. Yeah, Carter Hart, no better example. And then come out the next season and struggle. So that was definitely a concern. Swayman had a great first game, only gave up 1 goal against Dallas, but then he gave up 5 against Philly, and it kind of planted that seed of doubt of like, is that going to happen? And really, so far, it's just been a blemish. In all of the 7 games that he's played so far, he's given up 2 or fewer goals in 6 out of the 7. The only blemish there was that loss to Philly, which was then followed up by a loss to Carolina, which he only gave up 2 goals. So Swayman has been extremely consistent considering the adjustments he's had to make. But flipping that to Ullmark, again, both of these guys are adjusting. Swayman's maybe done a little bit faster, but I will throw Ullmark a bit of a bone that his level of competition has been higher. He played against Florida. He played against Edmonton. He played against Toronto. You want to see a little bit better results there.
Swayman played against Florida too.
He did, yes. But I think overall, Ullmark's matchups have been a little bit more difficult. That being said, the thing that really sticks out to me is the high danger save percentage, which Jeremy Swayman, 852 on high danger scoring chances is really impressive. Ullmark's at a 676 right now, and I think part of that might have to do with what Chris was saying and adjusting to your defense and maybe coming out of the different positions and trying to learning where you're supposed to position yourself on some of those chances. And maybe last year he had to be a little bit more aggressive to make up for Buffalo's lack of defense. He's going to maybe pull himself out of position a little bit. But Lancey, what you got?
If I may, Allmark is the most shots against that he's faced has been 36. He's faced it once. He's faced 35 shots against twice. That was against Florida and Toronto. And Swayman has yet to face anything more than 29 shots against in a game. So, there's a lot of it is the workload and the systems and everything that we've mentioned and gone over at this point, perhaps too many times, to just get through people's heads like goaltending is weird. Give it a little time.
I was gonna jump in and pile on Cam for bringing up goals against, because it is impressive to have a bunch of games in a row where you've given up no more than 2 goals, but also there were a couple of 16 save games in there.
And you can also have, at the other end for Calgary, you can have Jacob Markstrom, who traditionally doesn't have a starter's goals against average where you think of something around a 2 being really good, 2.5 being decent for a backup. He might end up with something like a 2.7 at the end of the year, but if the Flames winning games 8-6, that's all that matters. And to go along with that, Markstrom tends to face more shots against and he gets more saves. If I'm looking at the Flames right now, from how they've been going throughout the season, I have them down as a team that you might not be thinking about making the Stanley Cup final. Not saying they're going to win it.
Please don't say that on this podcast.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying that they're better than most people are giving them credit.
Lancey came on to do some smoke blowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm literally about to end this recording.
Bees playing Stanley Cup final, book it.
There's some wild takes right now with the Anaheim Ducks. There's plenty of people that still think
they're leading the Pacific Division, the least talented division in the National Hockey League.
The Edmonton Oilers are doing fine. People still think Vegas will bounce back. I'm thinking that among the teams that were looking to make the jump, the Flames have got something figured out right now that, maybe they're not great every night, but long term,
it's sustainable hockey. Which is something they have not had, because they have not had an NHL caliber coach since I have covered this team until they recalled Daryl Sutter from the farm and said...
From the literal farm.
I also have a special guest joining us right now. They're calling in, so hold on a second.
Okay.
Welcome!
Figured this would happen.
Guys, I've literally been bullying Kat to come on this podcast for a year.
A long time. Yeah.
A long time.
I was going to ask Kat if she wanted to come on, but I figured 5 people was too many, and lo and behold,
you were wrong. You were wrong.
Don't worry, I already said all the things you could possibly say.
Yeah, we're done talking.
I had just gotten finished saying, "Have a fun podcast, Chris," and then got a text from Jess and was like, "Oh, maybe she saw the text." And no,
I actually didn't. No, we were just talking about you, and then I was like,
"Oh, good.
What's she doing?" Good. Well, because Chris friend zoned you. He was like, my good friend, Kat Silverman.
I didn't say my good friend.
He didn't say our
good, whatever.
I didn't want to say our girlfriend, Kat.
Can I spoil it? Yes, can I spoil it? Can I tell them what you do? Izzy is in the background.
Hi, Iz. She can't.
Can I tell them what you do? Because it's very funny.
Yeah,
maybe. Sure. So Chris is on this really fun kick where he will only refer to me as his friend on podcasts, to the point where he has said regular podcast guest instead of my girlfriend, and frequent guest on my other podcast.
Guys, we've gone 18 minutes without an ad read, so I hate to interrupt this real quick, but before I get screamed at. Built Bar. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy having fuel in my tank, so I use Built Bar to get through my day, and that's a delicious protein bar that you can get for 15% off. High in fiber, low in carbs, low in sugar, high in protein, and you can get it at built.com with the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your next order. Okay, I don't even know where we were going with this.
We were talking about person I know, Kat Silverman.
Kat Silverman. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So I
was also cooking. So We're good.
A woman
On a
of
video
Cooking protein
podcast.
bars.
I
This
know.
is going
I
on
know.
a
YouTube.
woman of many
And
talents.
maybe Food Network.
Right.
Hopefully not.
You
A
have
woman of
Omaha
many
Steaks.
talents. Cooking is not one of them.
There we
And
go. Yeah,
with the
not.
nice looking kitchen and family room, perhaps
Yeah,
you
your
should
kitchen.
Thank
feed as
you.
well.
Thank you. He's not wrong though. I'm a very bad cook. When I said I'm cooking, I'm making some frozen sweet potato nuggets shaped like dinosaurs to go
Okay.
with a sliced up apple for somebody.
You're never too old for Dino Nugs. That's
Where
just
is
fact,
Cam?
though.
He doesn't have
Cam-
video.
Cam-
I'm
is in
the
the
voice
ether.
of God. Yeah,
I was
I
like,
am
that's
the,
not what Lancey sounds like.
No. No. So
Are you saying it's better or worse?
um, no comment.
Yeah. So I
David Krejci.
no, he doesn't. No, he's tearing it up. What is he in the KHL? Not the KHL.
The Czech Extraliga.
Yeah,
Thank you. He's one of those.
he's living his best life over
Also known
there.
as the ELH as opposed to ELO.
Okay, thank you, Encyclopedia. This
As
is why I
opposed to
don't have
ELO.
Lancey on my
Joke.
podcast often. Kat, what do you
Don't bring me down, Lancey.
what do you think of Dan Vladar? Not to like
I'm happy he's getting a good shot. I think he probably was not destined for a super conducive and smooth transition to the NHL where he was in Boston. Just because there was a lot of, I don't think it's a smart idea to have two young goaltenders as your starter and your backup. As
there's a lot
Columbus
of
figured out
backup.
in year 2. It was like two guys who shouldn't have been taking the reins. So they obviously needed a veteran, and that would have put them in like a weird 3 goalie tandem. So, and then when Tuukka Rask comes back, that would have made 4.
So you agree,
So-
Tuukka Rask is
Yes,
coming
Tuukka
back.
Rask is coming back. I definitively slid that in there. But no, I think Calgary's done a god awful job of drafting and developing goaltenders with no
Except for
disrespect
Dustin
to.
Wolf, thank you.
Yeah, no, Dustin Wolf is delightful. Tyler Parsons took a step back due to some mental health related reasons. So through no fault of any coaching or development trajectory. And I think they were kind of hoping that he would be ready for that next step essentially. And he kind of wasn't. So I don't think it was necessarily a knock on him, but they needed that guy as that intermediary who they knew would be able to do it without pressuring Tyler Parsons to be like
Exactly.
the guy. So
Yeah, and so there were immigration issues. And for those of you not watching on YouTube, we are quoting I don't know where Chris just went, but
we just lost him.
okay.
He's gonna walk through my living room now. I'm
Right?
kidding. He's not here.
But he's still like on the call. I think he just turned his camera off. But
That tracks.
he started the season on the injured reserve, and I think it was the fact that he wasn't immunized. I don't know. I just don't see another reason why he would not be able to report to Calgary, allegedly, in my opinion. But again, what do I know when it comes to that?
Apparently just as much as the NHL knows when it comes to that.
Yeah,
So
I'm just here hosting a daily podcast and hoping.
Just here so I don't get fined.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. All your
Yeah.
YouTube listeners are gonna watch me take some chicken nuggets out of the oven.
That's
Here, keep talking.
fantastic. We can have a cooking
This is good
tutorial.
content.
This
I'm
is excellent
very
content.
jealous. I'm pretty hungry.
I bought more. You can have them in a few days.
It was
Just
literally
Okay,
tomorrow.
breaking news. Chris is
It
going
is
back to
tomorrow.
Arizona
Chris is
I
gonna
will-
be here tomorrow.
I will be in Arizona tomorrow.
Yes.
tomorrow. Not even
Tomorrow.
a couple days.
I thought it was going to be in like 3 days, but it turns out that tomorrow is Friday. So
Tomorrow
that's news
is
to me.
Friday.
That's news to me.
I'm glad you're really excited for me to be there to the point that you're mentally 3 days away from it.
It feels like it's 3 days away. Is that better? Oh,
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Good save.
like a goalie.
Person I know,
Anyways.
Cat Silverman.
They're
Yeah,
a good friend of the pod.
Person you follow on
friend of
Twitter.
Brews and Bruins.
So who are some red flags that Flames players need to look out for?
On the Bruins?
Yeah.
Carson Kuhlman, man.
Again, ending the call.
I'm attached to my laptop, or I would have walked away.
I think.
I mean, Derek Forbort. I mean, hey,
he's got some good. He's got some good legs.
Well, I mean, it's so.
Derek
but,
Forbort.
I do really like what Charlie Coyle and Taylor Hall have been doing together. Charlie Coyle's been doing it on the score sheet a little bit more than Taylor Hall, but I think Taylor Hall is kind of the driver of that line. And I really appreciate that Charlie Coyle's kind of been able to ride along with it. So, I mean, obviously you're going to tab that first line as like guys to look out for, but secondary scoring super important and rarely ever have it. So, I mean, if your
Craig Smith will be back.
Minimal defense in Calgary is going to be paying attention to that top line, then yeah, watch out for the second line.
Okay.
I agree. I think another kind of somewhat obvious one, but Charlie McAvoy I thought has looked especially good the last 2 weeks or so. In all one games the Bruins have played the last 2 weeks.
He has 10 points in 2 games. It's wild.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously he's somebody to watch out for the Bruins kind of all the time now as their number one defenseman. I thought he had a pretty strong start this season, but I think he's really elevated his game the last couple of weeks. He's been generating a lot more offense, even if he's taken out Nick Foligno in the process. But I think it's been a pretty. The Bruins have wanted to see kind of an offensive boost from him. I mean, he's known as a two-way player and somebody who can move the puck up the ice, but they've wanted him, I think, to assert himself a little bit more as far as putting pucks on net and that sort of thing. Not to use too many generic hockey terms here, but he's definitely. I think he put up 7 shots on goal his last game, which he ended up burying a couple as well. But that kind of
the game of Charlie's.
Drive forward, yeah, the game of Charlie's, as it will go down in Boston history. But yeah, seeing him kind of assert himself a little bit more in the opposing zone has been definitely something I appreciate as a Bruins fan. So I'd keep an eye out. Hopefully he can keep riding that momentum. If you can carry momentum through an unscheduled bye week, but hopefully full energy and ready to keep bringing that next weekend.
Is it unscheduled as a bye week, Kim? Because I think it was a schedule.
Well, it's not their actual written in bye week.
It's no official term
according to the NHL
PR.
I think it was unofficial. I don't know if it was unscheduled though, since it's
all right. You know what? We're splitting hairs here.
Really glad Kat wasn't here earlier when I said the exact same thing.
All right, person Chris follows on Twitter, Cat Silverman.
Verified Twitter user, Cat Silverman.
So I don't mean to alarm anyone, but
I think you should alarm all of us.
Milan Lucic would be tied with David Pastrnak for goals.
Yes.
That would be scary if the Bruins had played more than 3 games.
And also, I'm not too worried either way because Pasta's just kind of coming into his own. And given the offseason he's had, it's got to be hard to.
Of course.
Just get back into the mindset.
He falls? Do you know where that falls? Okay, so say Pasta's out of the question.
He has 3 goals, right?
No, 4.
Oh, he's 4. Oh,
isn't that more than he had a couple years ago? Like,
had
the
4 goals
year.
in 3 games. That's man, he's gonna break the record.
Right. So he's on Connor McDavid
50
time right now.
38 instead of 39.
So he also has the same amount of goals as Taylor Hall, which is 4th on the, or I guess technically. So
Taylor Hall
4th on the Bruins,
and he can score goals.
Yeah,
Taylor Hall, notedly not an Arizona Coyote anymore, although he would be right around level with Shane Gostisbehere in points on the Arizona Coyotes, since he's a Norris contender this year, apparently.
What are we doing over here, Kat?
Ruining.
This is a Flames focus.
No,
Please,
it's okay. It's
please
okay.
let me
And/or
emphasize
former
that you
Bruins.
guys let me come on
Kat, you have your own
purpose.
podcast that you haven't recorded in months.
I actually got asked if I could do that today, and I said I was busy because I was. And then I got asked to do this, and I was like, why not?
Now you're recording a different podcast.
Mikey's gonna
looking at you in
kill me.
disgust. She's like,
Mike is gonna Izzy's mad because I won't cover her in a blanket. This is my most chaotic recording ever. There we go. Okay, we're good.
Tell
I'm not
Liz
losing
hi
again.
and that I love her.
Izzy, Chris says hi and that he loves you. I love you too, Quissy.
I'm
New nickname for Todd.
and combust on this podcast right now.
Yeah, very cute.
That's it.
We are
Locked
best
on
friends.
Flames.
They are best friends, and I believe they matched today, clothing-wise, just so everyone knows. Because they do that,
Wow.
like, roughly once a week.
That is
Contrary to
adorable.
popular belief, I don't live in a jersey, but
Yeah,
It's
I
on.
don't even think
Speaking
Bradley
of people
and I
who
match.
match, though, Calgary Flames, they wear a lot of matching jerseys. What are they doing right now? You're like my
Bring
segue.
back
I'm very
Blasty.
good at this. I'm very
So,
good at this.
I'm sure we've gone over Jerome
Before we
McGinley
continue
making
on
the
to
Hall
our
of Fame
next-
and everything.
By the way, check
Oh my
out
goodness.
3 Cheers for Goaltender Interference if you want to hear more
Hasn't
of
been
Kat
recorded
Silverman.
in-
Noted
hasn't been
Twitter
recorded
user.
in 2 months. Noted Twitter user sometimes.
If you want to bet on some sports, you can go on over to BetOnline AG. BetOnline AG is your online sportsbook experts, and they have a new web and mobile design. Chris, it looks like you are drinking pickle juice. Are you Blake Coleman? Guys, this is what I'm.
What is that?
I'm a fan of Blake
It's an
Coleman.
apple juice.
Don't think I'm allowed to say on the podcast
You can say what it is. It's fine. I don't care.
This is rye whiskey and Cointreau.
What's Cointreau?
It's like a really fancy
Something
triple
like a
sec.
liqueur, yeah.
Okay, so head on over to
Okay.
BetOnline AG for your online sportsbook betting and sign up for a free account and use promo code Locked On for your 50% welcome bonus. Yes, bet on the Flames kicking the Bruins' butt on Sunday. Because I'll be
Probably.
there. I'll be there.
Probably.
But the Bruins
And-
haven't played in 72 days, so
Right. The Bruins
you
literally
know.
haven't played since the cavemen roamed the earth. So that's BetOnline AG, promo code Locked
Fan of
On for a
romance.
50% welcome bonus. So, it's Friday. It's Thursday when we're recording, but this is going live on Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
Some of us thought
Gotta
it was
get down
Tuesday.
on
That's your
Friday.
second strike. Would you like to be kicked off the show?
I mean, does
In a
it
blaze
involve
of
more
glory.
karaoke? Because I can start singing "I'm on fire," but
No.
no.
Sorry. I'm currently in the process of ordering a Mangiapane jersey.
What's
and
the name of the horse mascot? Blasty?
Blasty? I thought
Oh,
it was
good
just
God.
short.
We actually have a Blasty here. No, not Blasty. We have
I thought it was
they
just
have a
like-
dog mascot too. Like
Oh,
the mascot
Harvey
in
the
the
Hound.
arena.
What's his name? Yeah, Harvey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harvey the Hound.
We have
love
one of
when
those
he had his
here
tongue
in the
pulled out.
house, but I
How did
don't
you
know
get
where
that
he
confused
is.
with Blasty?
Because
they're
you said isn't
terrible.
that their mascot?
I
And I said, and in my brain, I was like, we have a Flames mascot, Stuffy, here in the house. But then I
Oh.
was like, it's not a horse. I think it's a dog. And I was right. So,
That's right, because Kat rules the roost.
yes.
She does.
Kat doesn't
Noted
know where
friend of the
Harvey
pod.
is, but noted friend of the pod.
But yes, I bullied Kat to get on this podcast, and all it took was a text saying,
Yeah. All she said was,
Boys are
"Kat,
on."
would you like to come on the podcast?" Which is exactly what Mikey texted me at 9 a.m. And I said no.
Wow.
And it
Jess's
was my own
power.
podcast.
just call me an influencer. Just download
Yep.
this episode so my landlord gets a dime.
Noted
you.
Instagram user Jess Belmosto.
Oh, that's all I do. And post on my close friend story because and that's like my Finsta. I don't use my
Influencing
Finsta
friends.
anymore. I just post my manic moments of my
So,
close friends.
I will say I am consistently baffled at the things that people put on their close friends story. I don't use my close friends story very often. I think I do it when like I don't want like
Your mom?
whatever FBI agent is like constantly evaluating my security clearance to see like,
I love that you think they can't see that.
I'm sure they
I love
fucking
that.
could. So yeah, either way, like doesn't matter. But like I don't know, Lancey posted something today on his close friend story, and I was like, wow, so glad I'm close friends with Lancey, so I could see basically the same shit he posts on his regular story.
So I posted on my close friend story last night Taylor Swift's Sad Girl Autumn version of All Too Well with the caption, "We should start billing her for therapy."
I did see that.
And my friend was like, "Hey, I know her Rhode Island home address. Why don't you try it?" And I said, "Do not send that to me.
Do not do that."
And then I posted
I admire your restraint in that.
my dishwasher, you guys. This is literally all I care about is my
I
dishwasher.
did see that. I think I did see that.
And then did I post anything else? I did.
I think
That's
what
it.
Chris doesn't realize is that some of us use our close friends stories to post the memes that our close friends would laugh at, but our casual friends would ask if we're okay.
Right, like it would be a
That's why I put like
sock
more
hospital
depressing
vacation.
songs on my close
So I
friend
think
story
I have like,
and regular songs
I have,
on my friend story.
So my close friends list is like all my
Not me.
friends and not my parents.
Not me, because I never see a green circle.
That's
Yeah,
because he never has a
because I
green
never
circle.
I never
That's fair.
post a
Okay,
green
that is
circle.
never has a
You're
green
for sure on my
circle.
close friends list.
He never has a green circle.
But
I
is
I do
having
it
a
all
friend
the
of
time.
Look at my
podcast.
close friends.
I do it all the time.
I think I
because-
posted one 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Cam's
Yeah.
girlfriend is a fantastic Instagram responder.
Lauren has a name.
Listen,
Friend
we're
of
friends
Cam.
of
That's
the
all. That's
podcast.
Cam's
not friend
person
of the
Cam
pod.
follows on Twitter. Lauren.
Although she did
Yeah.
get referenced on Twitter as podcast listener Lauren Healy.
Okay, so you know
And I was like, oh, you guys do it to all of us. Good.
Wait, was that me? Did I do that?
It might have been Drew.
It was
It probably
Drew.
was. I don't
Well,
know. Who knows?
regardless.
When was this?
I don't know her, so I definitely can't do
Podcast
that.
listener.
Oh, you
She had-
definitely
she had sent in a beer. Like she had sent in a beer that she was drinking for like the Friday brews or whatever. And they were like, podcast listener Al Healy submitted this beer to us. I was like, Cam probably took that picture.
On-air personality Lauren Healy.
I would be mortified. Like, not that like Bradley has his own podcast, but like if he was like, yeah, listener. First of all, I don't listen to your damn podcast. I hear you record it. If you're listening.
You do
Bradley.
listen to it then. Just
Yeah,
not.
like she
Yeah, I
just
listen to
podcast.
one half of it, and then I'm like, oh my god, please shut up. I'm trying to go to bed.
Which one of his trash teams does he podcast about?
The Bruins. Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
fuck
Bruins,
yeah.
Chris.
The one good
excuse
one.
me, I get regulated by the FCC. Not really, but just you know.
You can bleep it.
Do you think I'm going back and editing this?
Look, you did not warn me ahead of
No,
time.
it's okay.
I couldn't swear.
I'm literally I'm just kidding.
She's just making fun
Please.
of you.
I'm just kidding.
JK. LOL.
Tegna doesn't have any Canadian TV networks, so I'm fine.
Yeah,
But,
no,
TV
the
is
first
a lot
time Chris did it, I think he just didn't want to seem obnoxious
Does
by
fair.
Tegna own Lockdown?
doing that. And then
Yeah,
I
they
called
brought
him
him
out
out last
for
year.
it.
Oh, no way. Maybe I'll get fired for this then. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I will literally create. Never mind, I'll message you after. I'm not putting this on air.
It's all right. I don't have much to lose here. It's fine.
I've definitely had like Drew or Cam cut things out of our podcast because I was like, ooh, yeah,
Legal.
I don't want the government like knowing I said that.
Like, I literally work in professional hockey. Like, last thing I need is Anya Packer just being like, "Oh, let's listen to this episode," and her being like, "What is this?"
What's this about?
A surprise.
I let this woman watch my son.
Surprising people will listen to your podcasts.
It's
And
Tampa
mortifying.
Bay
You'll then
Lightning
get a-
alumni have listened to my show. and
You'll then get a
I
message
still
for
find
it.
it weird.
And it's
If I
very
ever
upsetting.
get like a cease and desist, I mean, like Milan Lucic blocking me was like a cease and desist. Surprise! Guess what? I'm still gonna talk shit about you when you suck.
Wow.
Surprisingly good defensively.
Yeah, but like, is he like like $6 million for a fourth
No.
liner.
Huge slander.
That's fine.
Great. Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
gonna challenge
Not
him
that
to-
offensively great.
I'm gonna challenge him to rock, paper, scissors.
By the way, the reason I left earlier was because Rascal was like screeching, but he's sleeping soundly in Lexi's bed now.
Cute. He's so cute.
He's such a good boy. Kat, are you coming to Vermont next year? Great.
You should.
Probably.
This is me, Kat. This is me extending the formal invitation.
Yeah, I know. I haven't invited her
In
yet.
case
But
your friend of the
hasn't-
podcast won't do
he
it for you.
hasn't.
Kat, so because
Yeah.
my boyfriend works all the time, will you be my +1 to Vermont?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Because I know Izzy would probably be Chris's anyway, because they get along better than either of them get along with me.
So Matt.
So Cam, you coming back and we'll play bocce?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting that W. It's coming.
So Matt of Lake fame, his bachelor party is 2 weeks later.
Oh, no.
Also in Vermont, also at like a cabin.
Oh,
So I'm
bet.
just like, I guess I'm just gonna take 3 weeks off and spend
a cabin.
a lot of time in Vermont. I mean,
That's great. Kat, I don't know what you're doing, but you're more than welcome to coming to my new apartment.
your new apartment looks awesome, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm very proud of it. I
You
didn't
should be.
I didn't build it, but like I'm proud of it because
Yeah, well,
my hard work.
you did decorate it and whatnot.
Yes, these sunflowers, fake sunflowers.
Very
Wait,
cute.
you grew the sunflowers
Oh,
yourself.
proof.
I did. I had to make sure everything was perfect. What is my? Are you coming
Hey,
in,
Isabel, can you
Isabel?
sit up while you're eating?
I really appreciate that we could see her not listening to
You're
you
shake
in
your
real
head
time.
no. Yeah.
Hey, come here. Oh, you have
I've got
headphones in. You
headphones
can't
in,
hear
For
me.
sure
Yeah, you
cannot
can't
hear
I
you.
did that. I put my headphones in on purpose because I think I did speaker during a podcast once, and the language used, I was like, nope.
Can't let my
Although
5-year-old hear that.
I think I dropped a few F-bombs on the first Brews and Bruins that Izzy was featured on, where she slid up next to my computer, sniffed my Pink Whitney, and went, "I love this lemonade."
I stop.
And luckily that episode got
Yeah,
lost
that
because
was
Kit
the
couldn't
lost
figure out
episode.
Yeah, you're welcome for that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing.
Also, it created the bit where Kat and Chanel got to go on a podcast together and talk shit about Cam losing their
Losing an
episode.
God bless Kat. Oh
We
my
even
God.
said before we started that we weren't going to talk shit. We were like, we're going to be really.
Yeah, that was
really
like a
nice.
wink agreement that you were
And
absolutely
As
the talk
soon
shit.
as soon as we hit record, we were like, so welcome to the Brews and Bruins episode of the two people whose episodes got deleted. How's everyone doing?
I
Squad
can't.
episode.
we were
Love
like,
that.
here we go.
Love that.
Hey, I'm just saying I've got a pretty good not deleted percentage. All right. I'm up there in the ranks right now.
Ooh, I had a really bad almost one today.
Ooh.
So we recorded an episode of Ballad a couple weeks ago, and
Oh,
Lauren was on 2 podcasts in a row. Not Cam's girlfriend Lauren, but a different
another
Lauren.
listener of the pod.
Yeah, good friend of the other pod, Lauren. She made the mistake of going on 2 Ballad episodes in a row, and we recorded our 2001 episode, and she was on that one, and she recorded her audio on some sort of program that like will hold your audio for 24 hours and then delete it. And she just like sent me the
What?
link, and I often don't download all of the things I need to edit like the day of or the day after. And luckily Nate had downloaded it as an emergency backup, and he sent
Oh
it
my
to
God.
me today. Yeah, it was
Oh.
a real panic moment. We recorded a 3-hour and 23-minute podcast.
That's even longer than the one that I was on with her.
Well, so the year-end ones or the Lotties tend to be longer. By the way, anyone who's interested in movies, come let me plug this podcast on your
If you have
podcast
passions
chat.
outside of hockey,
Listen to
Um,
all the episodes, but the one about rom-coms, because I'd like
Yeah,
people to keep liking me.
So we do every year at the end of the year, we'll do like a 20-year retrospective, a 10-year retrospective, and a 5-year retrospective, and basically like redo the Oscars and like watch all of the movies from those years. And so like losing that episode would have been losing like a month of work plus the 3 hours of time we spent recording the episode.
Bless your hearts. So, this game isn't until Sunday. Does anyone have any bold predictions?
I predict that there will be a game played on Sunday, and
that might be a bold prediction given
that
what's
might
happening
be, yeah,
with
that
Ottawa.
Might be a prediction. I saw Mike McKenna tweeted out, I want to say it was this morning. He said, "What's the word for that space in between being nervous and being afraid?" Because that's how I feel about the NHL and COVID right now.
I think that's called anxiety.
Yeah.
I think somebody responded with apprehensive, and I was like, that's yeah,
That's the key word.
that's kind of where I am right now. I feel like hopefully that won't be the case. I think if the Bruins have to postpone games, I think
it better not be Sunday. First of all, y'all can wait.
My bold prediction is that if the Bruins have to postpone any games for COVID, the NHL is not going to the Olympics.
They're looking for any reason not to go to the Olympics.
And I think if they lost Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron for Team Canada, because they'd really have to condense the schedule in a crazy way, I think they'd scrap it.
I feel like that's not a hot take. I feel like that might be what the Bruins are this year. I think the scheduling.
Bruins were scheduled intentionally to tank the Olympics.
So every step of the way, we're getting into like mild conspiracy theory shit here. But
I was just gonna say, I don't think I have any tinfoil left. But
every step of the way, Gary Bettman and company have been really reticent to get into the Olympics because there's no real benefit to them. Well, I mean, like there is an obvious benefit to them of like going to China and like expanding there, but they're too stupid to see that. But
Kat disagrees.
No, I agree with the disagreement there.
He knows exactly what that face was for.
Yeah, for me, like there's an obvious benefit of going to the Olympics. For them, their narrow-minded view is that all our players are going to go over there and get hurt, and we're going to lose money because of it, not seeing that like, oh, there's money to be had in China. So they've every step of the way been dragging their feet trying to make sure that they can't go to the Olympics, and they finally capitulated, said they would go, but allowed themselves a lot of leeway in terms of the COVID stuff, saying like if COVID's still okay. So like they have chances to back out if they want to. And I'm still pretty skeptical that it's going to happen. But pretty good conspiracy theory. The Bruins' shitty schedule is so that if the Bruins have to postpone like any one of their games, they just say, oh, well, the Bruins are already like, look at this schedule. That it's the hot dog meme. Like, we're all looking for the guy who did this. Well, the Bruins' schedule is so bad. Like, we don't like if we have to postpone any of their games, like, how are they going to get them in? Well, we have this whole week here where like at least 2 weeks where no one's going to be playing.
We're just hanging out. We're vibing.
That's and to just go off of that for a quick second, thinking about boosters, because several people I know are eligible for them now. If the bulk of the players got vaccinated in July or August, and you add 6 months from then, if they got their second shot at that point, 6 months later is right about the time that they're going to the Olympics. So if it becomes you have to have your booster to go, or any other scenario where it gets really dicey and it gets pretty close to training camp and someone's going to be out, not because they're experiencing symptoms, but because they're experiencing side effects like just general fatigue and having a fever, that could be for the reason why they might say in January, hey, you know what?
It's also the NHL. I feel like a lot of these guys who like stubbornly drag their feet on getting their vaccines, but eventually did it, are gonna be saying, well, I already got the vaccines, like why do I need to get a booster? And like if it's not absolutely mandatory for playing in the NHL, why would I do it?
I would pay boatloads of money to be a fly on the wall in the room when they asked Duncan Keith to get his booster. I would love to watch that conversation. Like, I would relish that in a
I would love to be
kind of way.
a fly on the wall.
Just in general.
In any conversation regarding
I would hate being a
Dungeons.
fly because I would not understand a word people were saying.
And you have like so many.
Thank you so
eyes.
much, Chris. Cam, do you have any input in regards to being a fly on the wall?
I don't.
Okay.
I had a much less
That was it
bold
from
prediction lined up, but yeah, that was. I think Chris kind of hit it out of the park with his tinfoil hack Olympics conspiracy. So
Thanks, Cam.
I don't even know if I can. Like
man, go ahead.
top
Your
that.
shit's gonna be great.
My hot take is now like really lukewarm.
No, it's okay. We can microwave it. It's fine.
I'm gonna.
Pretty tepid
This is
now.
partially for like the more chaos on like Bruins Twitter with the goalie controversy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bruins are a little rusty Saturday, don't quite have it, maybe lose with Olmark, and then just to add some more flames to the fire, Jeremy Swayman comes in and posts his first shutout of the season on Sunday against Calgary,
Ooh.
and all hell breaks loose on Bruins Twitter the week next. So come after me when I'm wrong. It's probably not going to happen, but if it does,
Cam, I will be right at your DMs.
So the funny thing, Cam, all the guests on this podcast are in a fantasy hockey league together, but in my other fantasy hockey league, I am playing a losing battle against my best friend, and basically my only salve is going to be trying to find goalies at the end of the week to steal some categories. And I know he's not going to listen to this, so I can pretty safely say I was planning on picking up Jeremy Swayman for
How is he still available?
It's an 8-person league and people are dumb and don't check it very often.
Somebody should have done what I did, where you just take all the backup goalies and hoard them, so that people like you don't have to beg for them.
We also the other reason is because the Bruins play like once a week, and there's no real value in taking a goalie who's in a tandem playing once every 2 weeks.
That's why I had to sit Bergeron this week. Yeah.
But yeah, I was in my head thinking like maybe Swayman gets that shutout on Saturday, or they're playing Saturday or Sunday. I don't even know anymore.
Well,
Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, remember they play a back-to-back.
Yeah, so whichever game he plays on that back-to-back is going to be a shutout.
Why not both?
My guess is that Omar gets Saturday and then Swayman gets Sunday. Would be my
I think Swayman gets Saturday and Olmark gets Sunday, just because Swayman quote has the net right now, and because Flyers carry a little more weight in terms of the standings if you were to win or lose. And not that Calgary is being discredited for anything, but it's just, like when you play a Western Conference team and also it's hockey, like give him that shot to like get back at the team that he had a bad game against, Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So does anybody have anything else before we wrap up the show?
I got so much. I could stay here for hours. These are my
friends.
We
can come back.
These are my people.
You're good friends, all right here.
Friend of the pod.
All of you are good friends. All of you are good podcasts.
Every single person here is just a friend of mine. and Isabel.
You can sleep in your car. Oh, there's Isabel.
Does she have any takes she'd like to contribute?
Hey, Isabel. Calgary versus Boston. Who would win?
She ran.
Oh, she didn't run. She face planted on the couch. That was
that interesting.
She was down, but she's back.
Oh, there she is.
She Tuukka Rask's old team or Calgary, like Harvey the Hound. You're gonna face plant again. That's awesome. I'm really glad she's with it today. That's awesome.
You know what? She's a star. She just
popped over my shoulder and whispered, Auntie Ranta, who has played for neither Calgary nor Boston at any point, but he is Finnish. and so is Tuukka Rask, who played for Boston. So I think that's
Okay, so that's
Bruins
fair. Okay.
protection.
Is this
right
like
there.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
A little
Yes.
bit. It's a 6
Exactly.
degrees of Auntie Ranta. So
Perfect. Okay. So thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of Locked
Thanks
On
for having
Flames.
us.
Yes, thank you all for coming on. Kat,
Friends
thank
of
you
the
for jumping
podcast.
on as our emergency backup guest. Our
Oh,
e-bug. Well,
I'm
listen,
surprised that Chris hasn't called me that yet.
Listen,
He's stealing it now.
I didn't
my
think-
emergency backup girlfriend.
She's gonna tell you to not show up tomorrow. Oh
Wow.
man.
No, he
I-
has to show up tomorrow.
I know
'cause
for a
he
fact
gets-
that she will not
he's
tell me
just
not
gonna
to show
have
up
to-
tomorrow.
He's gonna hang out with Iz, and I'm gonna go into a different room and read a book. Is what's gonna happen.
Isn't I gonna have plenty of
He's
fun?
just
We're
a
gonna-
babysitter tomorrow.
We're gonna watch Harry
Tomorrow,
Potter 2 again.
Yeah, Harry Potter
Good one to
8's what
watch
she's on
again.
right now. She's a big
Oh.
fan of Harry Potter 8. My mom was
okay,
like,
I
"That's
need- I
not
need-
appropriate for a child," and I was
I
like,
need to watch
"It's
that for
Izzy.
It's Izzy. She's
Ballot,
not a
so-
child.
Izzy.
She's a grown
She's
adult.
not a child now.
Yeah, she's
not
a
child
tiny
at all.
adult.
No,
Not that tiny anymore.
No, as
No.
far as I'm
Getting
concerned,
gigantic.
she's a teenager.
she's 4 feet tall now, so that's a thing.
No, when you sent me
I
a
work with
picture of
people
her,
shorter than that.
you sent me like a picture of her, and I was like, that child is a tank. She is 8 years old.
She's
is
5.
She is
great.
she is
She
going
just turned
to
5.
be destroying people in sports soon.
I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Chris is very much here for it.
Chris got
I'm so excited.
Izzy's kindergarten teacher kind of screwed up her texting system
Oh, this
and
is very
accidentally
funny.
registered me as Izzy. And then I couldn't complete the sign up because the parent couldn't have the same phone number and email as the child. And she tried to reset it twice and it somehow wouldn't let her reset it, maybe so that a kid couldn't like bypass it or something. So I just finally said, screw it. And I said, here's my boyfriend's phone number. Add him to your email list instead.
Listen,
so Chris gets all the text updates.
I now
from
get
Izzy's
texts from
teacher.
Iz's teacher.
Yes.
That's true.
So,
That's
he got pictures
you
from her fun run yesterday, and she is standing in it like she's running with a trio of friends. Everyone else in her class is walking behind them, and they're like booking it along. And the girl she's running next to turned 6 last week. Izzy turned 5 in September, and Izzy is taller. By
It's
like
fine. She's gonna make a great goalie. It's fine.
she is.
She
She's
can
gonna
come
be-
play for. She can come play for the Riveters when I'm running the team.
She
Ooh,
would love
really
that.
looking forward to that.
You
would
guys
love
can come move out here.
Although she is a very big Boston Pride fan.
That's great. You know who will offer her more money? Me. Anya, I'm not coming for your job. This is when you retire. But
Or this is like a,
Yes,
a
I
co-general
know.
manager thing.
It was Ella.
Emily.
It was
so thank you all so much for tuning into today's fantastic episode of Locked On Flames, and I'll catch you on Monday.